Everybody, and welcome to Spirit Chat. I am Medium Mari, and my beautiful co-host Winter Brook, medium and psychic medium, animal communicator. And welcome so much to the show. We're so glad to have you. And I'm so happy to see everybody showing up. We have like a nice crowd here in the Zoom room, and hopefully people joining us on Facebook as well. And in case you don't know, the theme of today's show is animals. And we are going to be talking all about animals and what they mean in our lives and doing some readings. And I know some people have already sent me pictures on my phone or, on Messenger. Feel free to drop pictures in the chat on Facebook because we will be trying to check that as well. And anybody that's in the Zoom room, you can just hold your picture up to the screen, old school, and we'll definitely get to your furry friends that way. So again, I'm Medium Mari, psychic medium and animal communicator. I also help to find lost pets with the help of spirit. And I will turn it over to my beautiful co-host, Winter Brook, and she can give you her introduction.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to those who have come. I don't know if I'm on speaker view.
Hi, Winter.
Hi, Terry. So thank you all for coming today. And like my beautiful co-host, I am also an animal communicator and a medium. I do a lot of work with bringing through the animals on the other side and also communicating with animals here. Sometimes that gets me in trouble because I foster failed with my latest two kittens, and the way that started was the one shy one, the troublesome one, asked me if she could stay, and I felt so bad I wasn't going to say she had to leave. So all of a sudden I went from 4 cats to 5, and then my daughter said, well, we can't just keep one, so we have 6.
I'm going to unmute you. Sorry, I muted you. I'm trying to unmute you.
Oh, so there you
are. Sorry,
Thanks,
yes. I was
Mari.
trying to mute the other participants. Sorry about that, guys. I'm not that good with the Zoom, but just trying to mute everybody else so that we can hear you talk.
Okay, well, awesome. For those of you who might be able to see, I've got one of my other co-hosts in the back. He has his chair. And then we have my Bengal baby up here. And she's been giving me, the animal communicator, quite the run for my money. Because although I can communicate with them, it doesn't necessarily mean I could train them or ask them to behave differently. I can ask, but that doesn't mean they will. So I think tonight what Mari would like to do is talk a little bit about what animal communication is and how we use it with our clients and in our work, and then share a little bit of what we're doing and then do some readings.
That sounds good,
right, sweetheart? Okay. So
yeah, that sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. So welcome again, everybody. It's so nice to see a full house here, and I will try to check my Facebook in a little bit in case people are posting in there, or or maybe you can keep an eye on that also, Winter or Dakota. Awesome. So since I don't know how to do that from my computer, so little technical issue, but yeah, so welcome everybody. So nice to see everybody, and I'll be very happy to be connected with your animals. Like I said, I am a psychic medium and animal communicator, but I have to say that working with the animals is one of my favorite things. I love to connect with furry friends, whether they are here or crossed over. It's honestly just the energy is very different with them, and I'm sure Winter can attest to that as well. Connecting with animals, there's just a purity to them that we don't find in people as much. I mean, certainly not to say that people are not pure, certainly some of them are, but with animals, it's just different. They are really just soul driven, and they don't have like the human issues like we do, like jealousy or, I'm going to take revenge on you. Although sometimes I feel like sometimes they do, but it's not the same way as it is with people. And I probably do at least 50% of my work with animals, maybe more. And so, I love working with them. Sorry, there's something in the chat here. I'm just taking a look at. But I love working with the animals and I love communicating with them. And honestly, they have a lot of really surprising things to say. And like Winter was saying, sometimes we get in trouble when we are talking to them because I've had animals that have told me, well, I don't really like my owner that much, and so that's kind of hard to get across in a nice way. But animals are just like people. They all have different personalities, just like we do, and they have preferences, and I'm sure anybody that is listening that has animals will know that your cat might go to you, but not to your husband, or your horse might, they have their ideas of what they want. And that's okay because they are souls just like we are. So I just want to talk about a couple of the top questions that I get asked as an animal communicator or as a medium in general, because there always seems to be some sort of mix up as to how it works. People are like, oh, how can you talk to the animals? Like, are you Dr. Doolittle or whatever? It's not quite like that. I mean, honestly, for me, I connect with the animals in the same way that I connect with people. So I just really connect to them on like a soul to soul basis. So if I'm connecting with a person, I'll sort of raise my energy sort of up into the stratosphere, as it were, to the other side, the heavens, and I sort of put that energy out. And then that's how I connect with people. And I do that in the same way for animals, whether they are here or they are crossed, because by raising my vibration, I'm able to connect with them on a soul level. And that's what I do. And I'm sure Winter can talk a little bit about how she connects, but for me, I am very clairvoyant. And so that means I see things energetically. A lot of times, if you've ever had a reading with me, I'll be looking off to my side here because that's where spirit is dropping in all the information. And the clairvoyance is basically they will drop in like pictures or images or like a clip of a movie of something. And of course, I don't know what it is because it's not my person and it's not my animal. So I just describe to my sitter, oh, I've got this thing here, or, they're showing me this, this vignette of something that happened. And then we sort of go about the reading that way. So it's not anyway for me that the animal is saying, hey, Mari, what's going on? I'm just hanging out here. It's not like that. And maybe it is for some other people that work in this way. But for me, I see things, I feel things. Sometimes I smell things, not the most pleasant things sometimes, but that's sort of how I work. And just an example of that, I was just doing a reading this past week with a dog. And the dog kept showing me this. I knew it was a toy. I just had like a knowingness that it was a toy. It was like long, green, and fuzzy. And I'm like, oh, I'm seeing this thing. It's kind of long, green, and fuzzy. I can't really tell if it's an animal or like a vegetable, but I knew that it was a toy. And as it turns out, this dog's favorite toy, the dog had crossed over, was a stuffed alligator. And so it was green and long and fuzzy. And so she was like, oh, well, I have it right here. I'm like, well, there you go. Your dog was communicating that to me. So Winter and I, we're the mediums, we're the in-between. So spirit will bring things to us and show us things, but we may not necessarily know what they are. So that's sort of the process of the reading is I'll get information, I'll pass it along to you, and then the two of us with spirit try to sort of figure out what they're saying. But the number one question I do get asked is, are my animals okay? And my people? And of course, the answer is yes, because everything on the other side is just about love. When we cross, we leave our body. This is like the outfit that we have this time around. And when we cross, we leave that and we leave all of our problems in this world. Not that animals necessarily have any, but unless they had like physical issues or something. And the other side is really just about love and about joy and about doing the things they enjoy. Many times I'll see dogs like running around and chasing sticks or doing the fun things they loved, or horses rolling in the dirt. So yes, your animals are fine once they cross over, have no doubt, and you will absolutely be reunited with them whenever it is your turn. So because they are there and they are waiting for you, and they are also around us in spirit.
Oh,
on this side as well. And I'm sure winter could probably add to that as well. What do you think, Winter?
yes. You have so much to share, and
I know, sorry.
I
It's
don't
hard
want to
to
interrupt you, but
overshare.
I get so excited too.
Yeah.
So I actually had a client reach out to me a couple weeks ago urgently. They had to put the horse down.
Mm.
So this was a Friday morning, and she's like, is there any way? So, one of the hardest things you have to do in life is put a pet down or lose a pet. So I said, okay, let me come over there. And while I was standing in the barn, and the horse was elderly, it had been a rescue horse. This lady rescues horses. And in walks this gentleman, and it was her late husband and her teenage daughter's father who passed away a month before they got this horse. The horse was something they got involved with for healing, because the young girl lost her dad. He was a police officer, and he was there to reassure them that he's been there and he would be there the next day to help escort the horse to the other side, just to kind of bring in some love and support, because it's such a hard thing to do. And the horse was ready. He was a very old horse. And it was interesting because they had two other horses. And all of a sudden, she had me reading the other horses, and the newer one, I'm like, he's going to miss him more. He's kind of become a mentor for this horse. And I started picking things up about how these three horses interact with each other when they're in the barn, not necessarily when they're being in the presence of their human owners. So, it just kind of put them on notice that they better pay a little bit more attention to the one horse. The other horse, they didn't get along too well, but a new owner was coming in for that other horse. And it kind of helped my client and her daughter to be reassured, because even though their vet had told them several times that it was time, that the horse is no longer comfortable, and it is time for the next step in its evolution vis-a-vis euthanasia, hearing from the late husband father made a huge difference, because they were just devastated that they were going to lose this beloved horse. So there is that angle to using mediumship before the crossing, if that means anything. I'm hoping that it made that experience a little bit easier. So I, for myself, have witnessed a couple of my pets cross over. One interesting story, Mara, you never do, never mind. One interesting story was about 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I was overwhelmed with the desire to find a white cat. I just needed to have a white cat. I didn't know why. I knew it was spirit inspired, but I didn't know why. This is when I was kind of opening up to different areas and mediumship. So I found one. Nope, it's not the right cat. Next thing I know, the Little Shelter, which is a no-kill animal shelter in my town, had a little old white cat in the ICU, and it couldn't walk without injections for its arthritis, and it had lost most of its teeth. It was kind of scrawny. They had rescued it from a kill shelter, and they needed to find a home, kind of like a hospice home, because it was getting beaten up by a big old orange cat, kind of like the guy in the background, but not him. So I said, oh, that's my cat. So they gave me the cat, and I fed it with my finger, and she took up residence in my bedroom. She became the queen, never came downstairs. 4 months later, more or less, she walks downstairs one day, jumps in the carry case. And I said, oh, I guess you're ready to go. I just kind of knew it. And I make the appointment. I bring her to the vet. The vet examines her and he says, she's bleeding internally. I hadn't even realized because it just wasn't, like a cut where you would see the blood. And he said, she's been through a lot. She's a really old cat. I think it's time. I said, okay. And, she was very calm and regal. All the other animals are freaking out, but she was like, no, it's time. I'm good. He starts to give her the injections, and all of a sudden this strange woman shows up from spirit. And I see the cat leave its body and jump into the arms of the woman. And the woman says to me, thank you for taking care of my cat. And then they both disappeared. So what I deduced from this, and she was, thank you for taking care of my cat, Princess. Because when I'd asked Spirit what the cat's name was, all I was getting was Isis. So I thought it was Isis. But what I deducted from this was that this poor woman must have either passed away, leaving a cat that the family didn't want, or maybe she went into a nursing home. They put it in a kill shelter. I came along, took care of it for a few months. And then when she was ready, the cat joined her up in the world of spirit. And I think, that's how spirit works. Sometimes they send mediums to give messages in the grocery store. Sometimes they send us to take care of a cat for 4 months. But the point for me was I learned, that can happen. Here's this woman coming through, a spirit I've never met before, and cat's reunited with its beloved owner. And I got to thank you for taking care of my cat. So all is good. So your cats will reunite. If not you, then the loved ones who have passed before you are going to be there, whether it's the father / late husband with the horse, or in this case with the strange lady whose cat I took care of for a couple months. So they're never going to be alone, is what I guess my stories say. There's always going to be someone that you know and love that's going to be with your beloved pet when they move from your hands to spirits. Okay, now I went on too long, Laurie.
No, not at all. Not at all. No, that was a beautiful story. Thank you for that. I love that. So, yeah, for everybody that's worried, and I would be too if I didn't do this work about where, are my animals okay? Like, are they alone? And like Winter said, they are not alone. They are with people they know, they love. They're certainly with other animals. And there's also, in my work, I found out there are animals that will greet your animals like when they arrive on the other side, because you think about it, it's probably a little disorienting. You're in your body and then boom, you're not. So there are animals that sort of act like the greeters. Those are like the friendly animals that like to have a job, and they will sort of welcome the animal and show them around. So they are not alone. So have no fear about that. Your animals are loved on this side as well as the other, and they are never alone. So don't even worry about that, because I can tell you for sure that they are okay. So Winter, what do you think? I know we have a lot of people in the chat room. I have people messaging me. Do we want to get started on readings and then save a little bit of time for our upcoming events and to sort of let people know what those are?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. All righty. So, I have a bunch of people that are messaging me, but maybe, I don't know if everyone here, I don't know if everybody that's on this is looking for a reading. If you have pictures, I see Sue shaking her head. All right, Sue. I'll go to you there. And I think you sent me a message saying that you sent me a picture. How you doing, Sue? Do you have a picture with you,
Well,
or did you send me one?
I couldn't send it, but I can show you here.
Okay. And what's the name of the kitty?
The black kitty is Squeaky and the orange kitty is Tiger.
Okay. And are they here or gone?
They're gone.
Okay. And I feel like I read them before, right?
I'm not quite sure. You might have.
The names
I,
sound familiar.
I think
Yeah.
maybe one. I'm not quite sure, to be honest.
Okay. So did you have a particular one you want me to do, or questions, or?
Well, Squeaky passed in a very violent way, and I just was curious, about that, and if I could have stopped it. And then Tiggy, he passed about a year ago, and I mean, he was outside and I never saw him again, so I'm not quite sure how he went. He was an older cat, older than Squeaky, so I'm not quite sure what happened.
Okay. Well, it's interesting because as you're talking, I'm sort of connecting with Tiger, the orange
Mhm.
cat. He's sort of
Yeah.
showing me that he's like pretty chill, I'm getting a
Mm,
pretty chill vibe from him. He's just
mm,
like, yeah, like it's funny, but it's almost like kind of like in a hippie way, like, yeah, man, it's like cool, I'm like,
yep,
whatever, like that's him coming
yep.
through. And he's talking to me about, yeah, that it sounds like he had a lot of systemic stuff going on, because I'm feeling like a lot of congestion, if there's like a breathing issue going on with him. But I feel like he was definitely older and just sort of had a lot of different failures in terms of his organ system, but also specifically the breathing.
Okay.
He's showing me that, he didn't want to traumatize you,
Mm,
or re-traumatize you. And so he's actually just showing me like going like away, going over to like a bush. He's showing me himself under a bush and just honestly passing peacefully, like
good,
by himself,
good.
not in like a scary, oh, by myself kind of a way, but just like,
Okay.
I don't want to re-traumatize my mom by seeing me, considering what happened to Squeaky. But he's just like I am fine. I am like, he's like as still as chill as he was when he was here. But he very much also like was he a rescue as well? Because I feel like he's talking to me about gratitude piece, about being thankful for you and thankful for
Well,
what you
yeah, I
did
took
for
care
him.
of him. Yeah. He was outdoor,
Okay.
but I took care of him for like almost 15 years. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cause he's showing me like keeps coming back, keeps coming back. But the gratitude piece. And then there's also something he's showing me. Did you give him like little treats, like little
Oh,
fish-shaped treats or something? He's
yeah.
talking to me about, I really liked those, Mom. Those were
Yeah.
really good. Like, and he's showing me like
Yeah.
asking for more. Like you might give him a couple and then he would look at you with the face and be like,
Definitely.
can I
Sure.
can I have more, please?
Sure.
Like,
Sure.
please. Yeah.
They got whatever
Um,
they wanted. So,
yeah, so
yeah.
he's very grateful for that, and and really appreciate it. He's also talking about understanding him.
Mhm.
I would say understanding both of them, but he specifically, as I'm connecting with Tiger, he's like, you understood us and you appreciated us. And he's also, it's interesting, he's showing me going to different locations. Like I know you said he was outside, but almost like going to other people's houses.
Oh,
And some
yeah.
people
Yeah.
were not that nice to him. He's telling me, like he's showing me like a broom, and some people like, get out of here. Like,
Yeah.
so there was a couple, at
Yeah.
least one house he's showing me saying that
Yeah.
wasn't that nice. Not
Yeah.
like he was abused, but just like that he
Yeah.
wasn't wanted there.
Yeah.
And he's recognizing in you and giving you gratitude to you, saying thank you for taking care of me, and thank you for the understanding as well.
Thank you.
The
Wonderful.
piece
Thank
about the
you.
understanding. Yeah, you are
Thank you.
very welcome. And he's also showing me a little birthday cake, and I don't know if it's your birthday or one of the cat's birthdays, but he's giving me like a little
Birthday.
cake with a candle and
Okay.
presenting that to you as well.
Okay. Okay. Now, do you, could I have prevented Squeaky's death? Did he give you any information about that? Because I still feel a little guilty about that.
No, I totally understand that, but I think because we have so many people here waiting, I want to like
Right.
at this point limit one reading per person.
Sure.
So
Sure.
I'm going to pass it off to Winter,
Okay.
and then if we have time, I'll make a note and we'll circle
Okay.
back to
Okay. I
Squeaky.
appreciate that. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank
You're
you.
very welcome.
Okay. So do we have, I have somebody on my Facebook, Lynette Hunt Gillison. She just lost her cat in September. So that's kind of a recent loss. And I feel like the cat was, there's no photo, but Lynette, I'm picking up, I feel like there's some tiger pattern in the cat. And I want to say she was probably 10 to 12 years old. A little bit chonky. I believe she was a cuddler, and she would share the bed with you. So this is the inconvenient part of using Facebook, because I'm hoping you're still here with us, sweetheart. And I'm not sure if any of this information is fitting, but I'm just going to give you the rest that I have, and then we'll look in the Zoom room. Oh, here. Thank you, Lynette. Yes, she understands the information. So the cat has rejoined a cat of yours previously that had crossed into spirit. And I feel that she has resumed to her younger self, which happens frequently with our loved ones. After they show up the first time, they want to be seen in their younger self. Same thing with the cat. She's more agile. She was a climber in her younger days. And I feel that she is helping to create trees that this other cat and her are enjoying, and they're chasing birds. She loved to chase, and not with you. You had her indoors and she would just watch them. But now that she's in spirit, not that she's going to harm them, but she has fun playing chase. And I do get a lot of gratitude and the mommy. And sometimes you are seeing her. I know that you are sensitive, Lynette. And just for validation, yes, you agree. Good. She's in the house visiting you. And sometimes you're seeing her like a shadow around the corner. That is her doing her zoomies. She loved to do her zoomies well in past the normal age a cat does zoomies. She just loves you. She loves you. She loves you. And I think one of her favorite toys were those little catnip mouses. You get like 3 in a package that she used to love to bat. Those were one of her favorite toys. My guys like the springs, but I think your cat loved the little furry mouses. So I'm going to leave that with you, knowing that she is well. And I see a mother up there of yours who is watching over her, and she's playing with other cats from the family and having a grand old time. Okay. Talk to her and she will come, unlike her normal cat behavior. For in spirit, if you call her, she'll come. Okay. Lots of love to you. Thank you for tuning in.
All right, gotta unmute myself there. Just trying to manage all the technology. We got the messages and the chats. So, yeah, so I was just trying to find Hannah's picture because she messaged me. Hannah, are you here?
Yes.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Oh, sweet. And what is the name of your kitty? And I did find the one on my page. So,
Yes, this is Jax. He passed away in October. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And is that the same one? That's the white one, right? With the little bit of black on them?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm just trying to make sure I had the, yeah.
Yes,
Okay. The
exactly.
same picture. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Now, do you have a question for him, or you just want me to connect with him and see what
Just
he has
if
to
there's
say?
anything he wants to share with me. And I've been fostering ever since he passed. So hopefully in his honor. So hopefully he didn't
that's
love the
nice.
fosters when he was alive, but maybe after he's passed, he'll appreciate it. But
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's interesting because when I'm connecting to him, he's very much like, I want you all to myself, and there's also this piece from him that I'm getting, like that he's the king, but not like in an obnoxious way. Do you know what I mean? I lost you here on my pictures to try to find you, but
yes,
are you still there?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so it's like he wants to be the most important thing in the house, he's telling me. So it's like he's showing me himself with a little crown. But there are some animals, like, and I have one of them, that are the king or the queen in kind of an obnoxious way, but he's not being like that. He's just like, I'm really great, and everybody else around me needs to know that. So that's
Sounds
just
right.
important. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and he is really great. He, like, I can see his personality. He's very warm, but he's also very, like, particular. he's showing me like, okay, well, if you give him that kind of food, and I don't know if he switched his food up a couple of different times, but he's like, would like something for a little while. And he's like, yeah, no, I don't know about that anymore. Do you have something better? You know, there's some piece about always wanting something better. Like,
Yes.
do you understand that?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Because he's just like, it's funny because he's showing me a mountain, and it's almost like he wants to keep getting to the better mountain or to the top of the mountain. So it's like, well, this is good, but what's better? Or the same thing with toys. If you would buy him a toy, he'd play with it for a little while. And he's like, yeah, is there something else that you have that might work for me? So it was almost like, and the toys and everything and the food, there's a piece he's showing me. It was almost like that you would give gifts to a king or give gifts to somebody that you would visit. It's almost like an homage, you know, like this,
Yeah.
here, this is for you. Do you like this? Is that okay with you? You know? And that's what he's talking about. And it's very funny. He's also talking to me about that he could be like a little bit of a jokester. So I don't know if he would hide like the toys in your shoe or, you know, leave things in funny places. Cause he's talking to me about like, yeah, that was really funny. Like he's showing me a shoe with like a toy in it or a toy that would have been hidden like somewhere near on the couch. You'd sit on it and be like, what is this? But do you understand that?
Yes. Yes, he was.
So, but he did that very purposely, you know, not like, again, not in an obnoxious way, but like, you know, I'm clever. Like, check me out. Like I did that. Yeah. Like, you like that? So, but in like a funny kind of a way also, like just trying to like amuse you and like almost amuse himself because he's very smart also.
Yeah.
Jack's this very smart cat. And, you know, I have 3 cats and they're not all smart. So I'm sure if you have multiple animals, you know, they're not all, you know, they're fine, but they're not all like really smart. But he's very clever and like just very intelligent. Like you knew that when you were talking to him, like that he understood. He might not want to listen to you, but he's like, yeah, I know, I hear what you're saying. But you know, he might do it if he felt like it. And if he didn't, he'd be like, nah, I don't think so. So he's just has so much love and so much gratitude for you. It's like, you know, he's showing me, it's interesting. It's like he's almost giving me like a big hug. Like, I don't know if you would pick him up and he would have like the arms out because he's showing me himself like that with like the arms out. So if you pick him up, I don't know if he would kind of go like that or there's some piece about having his arms out towards you.
Yes. Thank you.
You understand that?
Yes.
Oh, you're welcome. He's such a joy, such a pleasure. Love his energy, just very sweet and cuddly, but also like, you know, just keep in mind like who's important here, you know, just remember that. So he's very much around you and he's giving you like one of those little like the head bonks, you know, he's doing this to me. So just know that he's around you. He loves you, appreciates you. And he's also talking to me about fur balls. He just brought that up as well. So, you know, so if you find one around the house, that might be, you know, in honor of him, you know, it's like a metaphysical fur ball from Jack. So
awesome. Thank you.
So, you're very welcome. My pleasure.
So we have a couple of ladies in the chat room. Lisa lost 2 of her golden retrievers in the last 6 months. So we'd like Jax was 8, another Jax, that's a very popular name.
Yeah.
Josie was 13. One just passed recently. So Lisa, sweetheart, if you can unmute, and there goes my orange cat. Where'd she go?
Right? I know. I'm having trouble finding people. They're like trying to scroll through. Everyone's disappearing.
Where did she fall off? Gabby, Linda, Maria.
Yeah,
Can you see me?
Oh, there she is. Okay. I see her now. So Lisa, if you will, you're unmuted, so we should be able to put you on this. I want to little spotlight. Okay. There. Now show us your photo so everybody can see. Now, is that Josie?
That's Josie. Yeah.
Okay, because right away, just looking, I know one was a boy and one was a girl. I just felt female with her. She was very much a female. Very nurturing, very mothering. And I
Yeah.
see him, yeah, he looks younger, and he wanted to be the head honcho, but she kind of mothered him. I don't know if they were related, but she took him on as like a puppy almost.
Yes.
Okay. And now I feel like Josie's passing was more age related. And as my friend Helen, who's 91 and unfortunately found out her cat's got cancer yesterday, I was like dealing with 91-year-old. All the equipment is cranking down. That's kind of the feeling I'm getting from Josie when she passed. Whereas
Yes.
Jax, he had something like a
Cancer of the spleen.
Yeah. And the thing is, they are very happy to be reunited. Jax was actually experiencing a lot of depression following Josie's passing. Would you say that's correct?
Yes.
And he would cry at night, I mean, months after she passed, looking for her. He would wake up crying.
Yep.
So he is beyond happy or euphoric to be reunited with her, although he comes running up to you whenever you're thinking, and he wants you to know, I'm still a good boy. I come when you call. I'm still a good boy. I come when you call. Because that was one of the tricks, the commands that you really had to work with him. Would you understand that?
Yes.
He wasn't coming when you called him in the beginning. You really had to practice that one a lot. He got leave it really easy. I think you did it once, to teach him how to leave something, not touch it. He startled the crap out of him, and he never did not.
He was very, very timid. He was really shy.
Yeah. And he got leave it right away. But getting him recall where you were calling him to come in, especially if he was playing, he wasn't. He was more like a Great Pyrenees.
Yeah.
That's what I have. He's about 120 pounds. So he wants you to know now when you think of him, he comes running from spirit, and he's right there waiting with his tail wagging for the treat. You used to use little cheese pieces.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. He loves those cheese pieces. He still does. And he also liked to stick his nose near your stove when you were cooking.
Mm-hmm.
He liked to smell, especially if you had like sauces or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still enjoying the ability to smell your cooking, because he comes in when you're making stuff on the stove. Sandwiches he couldn't be interested in. But when you cooked on the stove, he was always underfoot. Do you recall that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's always trying to get. Now, Josie, she had enough sense to not lay underfoot by the stove. She would lay on the other side of the kitchen.
Right.
Okay. She was a little bit smarter than him.
He was.
Yeah, he was a little bit goofier. She couldn't help but love him.
Yeah.
And I do feel, though, if you took them out for a walk, he might have been timid, but if he felt the dog's presence might be dangerous for Josie, he would put on the show of like a growl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If left in the backyard, he'd run the other way. But if anybody was going to go near his human or his Josie, then he had to dig deep and find that protective part, and he did.
Yeah.
They're both well. Good. All the little aches and pains and discomforts they experienced in their physical bodies have remained with the physical body. Would you understand a father in spirit?
Yes.
Okay, because I just have a gentleman waving to me to let me know that they've also have human caregivers up there, and your father was particularly fond of dogs.
Oh, yes, my dad.
And unlike when they were in their physical being, your father can now give them as many treats as he wants without having to worry about them getting overfed.
Yes.
You understand that? Because he used to
Yes.
give too many treats to the dog, including table scraps.
Mhm.
And your mother didn't like that, and you tended not to do the table scraps because of health reasons for the dogs. They got nutritious treats, but your
Mhm.
father now's up in spirit. He can do what he wants because
Yeah.
the dogs are fine. They're in their spirit body. So he gives you a kiss, and he said he was holding you the whole time you were going through it. Okay. Dad's there because it's been a hardship for you to lose both, especially in such a short period.
Yes. It has been.
No, they're taken care of, they're happy, and they do come and visit.
So does my dad take care of them up there?
He's one. I also feel like
one.
you have a mother or a grandma. There's a woman standing next to your father, but I'm not sure if it's mom or your grandma. I think it might be grandma.
Okay.
All right. So there's
My-
also another.
Okay, my mom's also passed, so it could be
So-
her too.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure if it's mother or grandmother without tuning in, but we want to jump along. But I just want you to know they're being cared for and they're happy to be back reunited. And there's another couple of dogs up there that I think used to belong to your dad or you when you were growing up. And your mom had a small dog.
Yes, Benson.
Yeah, they're together.
Ah,
Okay, so they're good.
okay, great. Thank you.
Lots of licks coming through to you from the other side. Okay.
Awesome. That was awesome.
Thank you.
So nice. That's so nice to do that. I don't know how to do the unpinning, Winter. I'll let you figure that out. But I saw in the chat, we have Liz and Paige, and they said they would like to hear from Wendy. Now, do you have a photo of Wendy? Because I don't.
Yes, here she is. Can you see her?
Okay, hold on. Oh, you just moved. I'm trying to find you here. Spotlight. There you go. Oh, Wendy.
is.
Sweetie. And she's crossed over?
She did, yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, well, thank you for the photo. It's interesting because, when I connect with her, it's like she's like very much like a soul dog. Like she is very deep as I'm connecting to her energy. Like I just feel like as I'm connecting her, like, whoa, like, do you understand that? Just very like old soul type of energy with her.
Okay.
And so as I'm sort of connecting to that piece, there's also a piece about like being very protective of you. Like, do you understand that? Because she's showing me like whether other dogs would come around or just like trying to make sure like she was the watcher. She's showing me almost like the grande dame or like the mom of the house, trying to
Yes.
make sure that everything was okay and everybody was okay.
Yep, that makes sense.
And so she's just showing me like, but like not in an aggressive way. She wasn't aggressive at all, but she's just like, okay, like you're over there and I'm here, like everything's good. All right, making sure, checking. Also almost like something about walking the perimeter of the house to make sure everything was okay. She just wanted to make sure that everything was in its right place and everybody was doing what they were supposed to be doing.
Yes.
It's funny because there's something almost a little bossy about her. And again, I don't mean it like in an obnoxious way. And and I've talked about one of my cats, and one of my cats is very obnoxious. But she's not coming through that way, but just like, no, do it this way. Like if she was a person, she would just be, almost have like an OCD or like an anxiety kind of like, okay, like do it this way. I want it done this way. And almost even down to like how her food would be put out, or like, you had to do it the right way, which would be her way, in order for her to be happy with it. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And it's very interesting. Did she have, because I'm seeing another dog. So I don't know if you had another dog when she was around or if this is another dog in spirit, because she's showing me another dog next to her.
Yes, we did. We did have another dog when she was with us.
Okay. And that dog's crossed over as well?
Yes, he has.
Okay. And what's his name? Just so I know.
He's Larry.
Larry. I love that. Larry and Wendy. That's so cute. All right. So yeah, because I'm seeing this other dog as well, connected to Wendy. And it's interesting because I feel like this other dog was almost like deer in the headlights compared to Wendy. Sort of just like she would boss him around and he was like, okay, well, like whatever, like, okay, I'll do it. I'm good. Like not wanting, it's interesting since he was a male, but he just didn't want like any type of aggressive interaction. He was just kind of like, okay, like, well, you want it that way, we'll do it your way. Like, you
Yes.
understand?
Yep.
So he was more just like a big mush. So even though he was, the guy, he was still just like, okay, I'm just letting you know, like you lead the way. I'll follow you. I'm fine. I'm good with
Yes.
that. So he was like a good soldier,
Yes.
he would do what he was told. And Wendy was just sort of like, okay, this is how things are going, and this is how we're doing things, and and that's just how it is. So I'm getting a lot of love from both of them for you. Also, it's like I'm talking as Wendy's talking to me. Was there something with her paw, either like a nail that got infected or something? She's showing me her paw, and whether there was something at some point she got it cut. There's some piece about her paw that she's making me aware of. It's not bothering her now. She's just showing me from previously when she was here. There was some piece about the paw that was, and it was a nail that got too short or something. Do you understand that?
I don't know. I don't know about that. She was hit by a car, so I don't know
Oh.
if that has something to do with the paw. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm not, because I'm not feeling that the car piece. I'm just feeling like she's showing me her paw. So I don't know if after you saw her, there's some piece about the paw. Maybe, and again, when I do this all day, every day for many years, 99% of the time people come back to me and say, oh, the thing that you said, well, now I remember. So
Right.
she is making mention of that. And a lot of times when they have tragic or traumatic type of things happen to them, they don't want to bring it up because they don't want to like re-traumatize their people. But there
Right.
is something about the paw. It does feel like whether it was a groomer, somebody cut it too short and she was limping. There's some piece about that she's mentioning. So just sort of put a pin in that if you're not sure exactly what that is.
Okay.
But she just wanted to make mention of that as well. And she's also talking to me about like gourmet treats or gourmet food, whether you would buy it like at a special place or go to like a special dog bar or something and buy the food for them. Do you understand that?
The page is saying sometimes we would go for puppuccinos, but that wasn't really gourmet. But the trainer used to bring pretty gourmet treats.
Okay, because I'm seeing like a place where you would buy like fancy, not like Petco, like I get it from, whatever, Chewy or something,
Right.
just the normal things. This looks like fancy food, fancy type of treats that she would get. And Wendy was like approving, like, yes, I appreciate that. Like, yes, thank you. Like, of course, what else would you be bringing me? So, and they're also talking to me about, and I want to try to save time because it's once we start, like I understand once we start reading, it's sort of hard to not like keep going on and
Yes.
on because they have a lot of information. But talking about like the holiday photos, like whether they would have been in the cards, they're talking to me about like the holiday cards and pictures of them as well included. And that would have been very important because obviously they're a part of the family, but it was important to you to make sure that they were included in that piece as well.
Yep, that makes sense. Yeah. We held them. They were in the Christmas card photo that we sent.
Exactly. And that would have been important for the family as well as for them because they were an integral part of the family, but that you wanted to make sure that they were in the photo and that people saw them and knew that that was like the family card, that the animals are part of the family. So
Yep.
Just know that they are very much around you. There's some piece about like Larry is talking about like zoomies and running around your body. He showed me your body and just going in a circle around it.
Yep.
And he's telling me that he's still doing that. And so our animals are very much around us, always giving us signs. So if you ever feel like, and again, when they come visit us, it's not like a human or like a person in the room. It doesn't feel that way, but he's talking about when he's doing zoomies, it's almost like the temperature will change a little bit around you. You feel like, oh, why did it get a little colder now? Or I felt kind of a breeze or something. He's saying that's him and he's still running around your legs. So just be aware of that if you feel like a little bit of energy, that's Larry sort of coming in to say hello. And
Thank
they're
you.
both, slob, giving you kisses and hugs and, grateful for everything. And appreciate, they're also talking to me about going above and beyond for them, above and beyond. That, a lot of people have pets and the care is sort of spread out, different ways, but they are saying that you did everything above and beyond for them to take care of them. And there's a lot of gratitude from them for all of that extra care.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. My pleasure. So Winter, where are we going next? Yes, I know the time is fine.
Yeah, I'd like to, there's another reading I'd like to do, and I'm sure you have one more as well. But before we get to those couple last readings, do you want to let folks know what you're doing over the next month, and then I'll let them know and go from there?
Sure, we can go through that. I have to find my page since I don't remember what I'm doing, from day to day.
Well, then I'll share.
You can start. You share.
I have mine under my cat's paw.
Okay.
So for those of you who would like to try Lilydale, I'm going to be one of the tutors in a physical mediumship symposium, physical mediumship in the Victorian era. It's a 4 to 5 day event, June 18th, my apologies, through the 23rd. So that's in Lilydale, New York. They still have spaces. We got a good group going, but we can accommodate a few more. They opened up the Maplewood, so there's extra accommodations if you would like to join us. From that event, if you are in the Long Island region where my office is, I'm having Gary Mannion come to Northport at my office and give 2 physical phenomena seances. Gary is quite talented, and when I saw one of his stems, his spirit team created this in the middle of the dark with no one touching it. It's my dad. After that, I will also be teaching more Reiki classes. And again, those are in person. So those are for folks that are on or near Long Island. I teach with a partner, Angela Williams-Jones, who is quite an abled yoga teacher. So we kind of bring in the spiritualist mediumship and the yogi perspective into the Reiki practice when we attune our students. Teaching online for a lovely school, the Spirit School, based out of Vancouver. And I know in my heart that Mavis Spatilla, who has recently left this world for the spirit world, connected the owner of the school with me. So I'm very honored at that. What else? My newsletter is going out the next day. That's going to have these events. I'll also be at Greenport Library if you're on Long Island in September. And I love my library events. And I'm sure I'll be adding more in the book, although I plan on following my partner Mari's lead and taking some more time off. She's always telling me to take more time off. So I'm listening, and I'm going to take some more time off this summer. But you can catch me, the online classes for those, if you're interested in learning trance, will be a 4-week session. And I'll also be back in Lilydale teaching trance in August. So mazel tov.
Wow, that is quite the list. I'm exhausted just listening to that list, Winter. So yeah, no, that is a lot. That is awesome. I have a couple things going on. I am going to try to take some time off, but I just want to say thank you for everybody that's on. We will do a few more readings. I don't mind staying a little bit over. I know there's a lot of people, but we should do the animal one again. Obviously, we've had a great response. As for things I am doing, I'm going to be on the Voice of Spirit KCOR radio on June 20th from 2 to 4 p.m. with the amazing Leo Bonomo. And we'll be doing a lot of live readings there. All of my events are listed on my website, mediummari.com. I have not been as good as putting out newsletters as Winter, but you can find all my listings on my website. I will also be doing the Over the Rainbow show with Bob Brown on July 19th. And I believe that is at 3 p.m. and that will also be listed. And I'm also teaching in an online school. It is called the Mediumship Matters Mediumship School, and it's going to be launching June 1st. So you can look for that on my Facebook page, and it's going to be all over the place. There's lots of lots of lectures and teaching and live events. And Hannah McIntyre, our Hannah Medium, is putting it on, and there's going to be, you know, events every week. There's live videos that you can watch at your leisure all the time. And it's going to be a really awesome place to learn and to grow in spirit. And I'm also going to be doing another live with the angel lady, Maura O'Leary. Everybody loves hearing from their angels. It's probably will be an angels and animals event. So she will cover the angels and I will cover the animals. That will be live on Facebook, and we should be putting up that date soon. It should be in the next month. And yeah, absolutely grateful for everybody that's here, and thank you for joining us. And let's see who else is on. Who would you like to do, Winter? Should
I promised somebody in the Zoom room. I also just want to mention, guys, I have a private Facebook group. I mean, it's like 1,000 people, but I do screen. I don't want those bots. And the purpose of the group is a couple of ladies run practice groups if you want to learn mediumship or you want to practice. And you can also post saying, does anybody want to practice with me? I'm available Saturday, and put your time zone. So it's just a tool for anybody out there, and you can practice animal readings. You can practice trance. So you can find some like-minded folks, and there's no cost to it. It's on Facebook if anyone's interested. Okay, so I had mentioned to Charmaine Raththorn.
Hi.
Hi, sweetheart. You had a Russian blue.
Yeah.
Let me see. Where did I do? I did something wrong.
You see?
Okay, there we go. Oh, gorgeous. Okay. Now she's passed into spirit?
Yes, about 8 years ago.
Okay, no, let me get the information from her. And what I'm picking up on her personality was that she was very selective.
Oh, yes.
With whom she would go near. She wasn't like an overly friendly cat.
True.
With you, she was very loving, etc. But she was selective, and you needed to really prove your trustworthiness before she would want to come over and give you a rub. So if you had somebody coming and staying in your home for a week, it might not be till day 3.
Right.
Till she wanted to come over and rub against their leg and welcome them to the home. She, like most cats, was very inquisitive and tended to get herself into situations like walking into the closet as you're closing the door and not see her.
Yep.
Okay. And then she would sit there and have her nose out of joint that, how dare you? Because she had a very regal personality. You were, in fact, her human servant.
I know.
She loved you to bits, but she was that kind of cat. Okay. And so it was like, how dare you lock me in the closet? And then when you finally did find her, she may not meow much, but when she finally did announce, because you didn't know, she would kind of give you the nose, you know, like, oh. In fact, when you went out and if you went away, you got the nose. She gave you, you know, the cold shoulder. That's what I'm trying to look for.
Exactly.
For your going away. Now, she wants you to know she is fine. She wants you to know she is grateful, because you are still wrestling with your grief as to whether or not you missed something or you failed to do something concerning her passing. Would you understand that?
I do.
And she said, no, 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 mommy. Everything that happened was supposed to happen. There was nothing you missed. There was nothing you could have prevented. And she was grateful for the love and the care that you gave her. She would like to see you release any residual feelings of guilt, because you have nothing to feel guilty about.
Thank you.
Okay. And yes, I need to validate a couple of experiences for you since her passing. You are not going crazy. She does come in the bedroom, particularly at night, and you can see in the dark. It's like the lights are off, but you see a small figure and you almost feel her presence. Would you understand that?
Yes, I've seen her.
Yes. And then you tell yourself you must be crazy because it's in the dark and there's no way you could physically see something walking around in the dark, but it is her and it is you seeing her. And you have also heard her. You've woken up with a start, hearing her meow in your ear. Okay, good. So that is in fact her. All right. And she's a little nudge, and she's on occasion has woken you up in the middle of the night, being her, letting you know that the queen has arrived.
Right.
All right. And then I do feel she lays on the bed like she used to, where next to your head.
Always.
She didn't lay on the bed by your feet. She laid by your head. And she still is from spirit. So I want to leave her and her love for you and her gratitude. And I want to thank you for coming today and allowing me to connect the two of you. And let go of that grief. You were a good mommy.
Okay.
You were a very good mommy.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
So, and I'll move it over and hand it off to Mari.
Oh, that's so sweet. What a nice reading. Well, I don't know, Maria, if you're still here. Maria Murphy, I see you're up. There you are. Hello. I have the picture of your beautiful Wally, the cockatiel. Yeah, thank you for sharing with me.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So I'm happy that I love connecting with birds as well. Usually we do a lot of cats and dogs, but it's always nice to have, somebody new. And it's interesting as I'm connecting to Wally, it's like he was like quite the wisecracker a little bit, like he has like a little bit of like a Spitfire engine going with him. And he was like, he liked to play tricks, and he just like had a lot of energy going on with him. Do you understand that?
Yep.
Very like, want to kind of be on the go, very smart, of course. I mean, a lot of birds are very smart. A lot of them are not so smart, but he's very, very smart. And he's also talking to me. He's showing me his food dish and picking through it. So I don't know what you fed him, but there were certain things in the food that he would like, and he would pick those out and not eat the other pieces. That's what he's telling me.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes, I do.
Because he was like kind of picky, and he was just like, well, but he wasn't like he's not being rude about it. Like, Mom, like, why are you giving me that? He's like, well, no, you're going to buy me this whole bag, and I'm probably going to eat about, 20% of it. And the rest of it, I'm going to throw on the floor because
He didn't like his vegetables.
Yeah. He's just like showing me like little round objects. I don't know if they were like dried fruit or
Peas,
like sweets, little peas. Okay. Yeah, because he's like saying that he liked like the sweeter things better. Like, like he didn't want to be like, if he was a person, he might want to eat Oreos over apples, like something like that.
Right.
Stuff that isn't necessarily very good for him. But he's very much like a little bit of a wisecracker also. He's also showing me like when you would try to go into the cage, I don't know if you took him out or went into the cage to try to clean it. Like he would kind of do like go to the door and then move, and then he would just like do this whole little thing when you would be trying to get in the cage, and you're like, hey, Wally, like I'm trying to help you out here. What are you doing? So there's some piece about that. You understand that?
Yep.
He was just like, whether he was like trying to play kind of like a hide and seek thing with you, or like you'd open the door and he'd be like, here I am. Can he get in? Can he not get in? He's very funny. He's very like lively. His energy is like very bubbling over. And I know you had posted in the chat about his crossing and how it's, interesting how a lot of times the readings sort of come in next to each other about the guilt, about his crossing and you not being able to be there. And that was just the reading that Winter did. And that happens very frequently. We'll do similar readings together. He's talking to me about that. It feels like something that was going on with him and you weren't aware that it was as bad as it was, is what he's telling me. And the piece about him crossing before, you being able to be there, he's saying like, I didn't want to put you through that. and I know that you wanted to feel like that you were there for him, but he's saying like, I'm fine. Like, I'm fine, mom. Like, I wasn't suffering, because I do feel like, I don't know if he had some type of cancer or some type of growth or something he's talking to me about, but he's saying that he didn't want you to have to be there to see him that way, because he knows that it would have been so hard for you. And a lot of times our animals will do that. Like earlier, I did a reading about the cat that sort of passed on its own under the bush, and they will do that as a way to sort of spare our feelings. So do you understand that piece about taking him and not being sure what was going on with him? So he doesn't want you to hold on to that guilt, just like Winter said. It's like our animals are never like, oh, you were bad and you should have done something different, they're not holding on to that. That's really more us as humans sort of having those feelings. So he's like, Mom, he's like, I know that you went, again, above and beyond and did everything you possibly could for me. It's almost like he's talking to me that he got treated better than the humans in the house, is what he's talking to me about.
He definitely did.
So he was like, the humans are here, but Wally is up here. So Wally gets the special food and like, oh, don't, like anybody would come in and try to, don't turn on the lights. Wally's sleeping. Like,
right.
Don't,
exactly. Right.
Stuff like that. So he was like the king,
he was first.
Even though, yes, he was first, and he wasn't like, oh, I'm the king, but it's just that was the energy of like that you took care of him in that way, that he was the most important in the house before any people and before guests, before anything. Wally was like the number one, and he appreciates that. And just is grateful of all the extra care you took of him. Because he's also talking to me about, I don't know if he had some like injury. He's showing me his wing, and then he's showing me like his hand. He had some, I don't know if he injured it flying or something, but there's something with that.
He did. One of my cats, as he was flying by, my cat jumped up and scratched his thigh.
Oh, okay.
That kind of never healed well, and that I think was his demise in the end. I think he turned septic.
Oh, the infection.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because I was seeing sort of like a systemic.
As much as we tried to heal it all up.
Yeah, exactly. No, because I'm feeling like a systemic thing, and I was feeling like he got like something on him when he got hurt. But he's saying like it's not. Don't feel guilty about that. Again, like our animals are here to sort of help us be the best version of ourselves and to sort of make our lives better. So he does not want you holding on to any type of, grief or guilt or anything like that. And he's very much like a wisecracker. He's telling me that, I don't know if you've heard him in the house, but he is still like talking and making little sounds. And he wants you to know that he is still very much there and trying to send you little messages. It's interesting because he's showing me, I know we're already over time, but I wanted to make sure that I got to you. Like leaving little seeds, like you'll find little seeds, little like remnants of him. And you're like, I thought I already cleaned this area, but they have a way of sort of, dropping things in our path to sort of let us know that they are around us. And he's doing that as well. And he wants you to know there's just a lot of love and a lot of gratitude for you. He's also showing me a little bow. So I don't know if there was some type of a gift or some type of a present or almost like a memorial piece or something that you got for him, but he just dropped in a little bow, something that would have been wrapped up a little bow. You understand that?
Yes, I do. His cage never sealed properly, so I would always tie a bow with shoelace.
Awesome. Yeah. So he's just sort of making mention of that to let you know that I have him with me, and just sort of be on the lookout for finding those little things. And a bell. He just showed me a little bell, like one of those little toy bells.
He had a bell in his cage. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so he's around you, and he's going to be leaving you little things so that you know that he's still around. And again, like the little chirping and little squeaking noises, he's going to be like, just be on the lookout if you hear like, wait a second, was that Wally? How's that possible? They have a way of sort of connecting to us in that way. So I hope that was helpful. And yeah, thank you for sharing Wally with me. He's quite
very helpful. Thank you.
You're very welcome. You are very welcome. So
Mar,
I know we went over time, didn't we? Again.
Yeah, Mari, two things though, sweetheart. I was going to pull a card.
Oh, right.
And then we do have one person, a friend of yours, that is here about a missing cat. So if I thought maybe we could spend a couple of minutes if you could pick something up for this gentleman with the missing cat. Cal is his
Sure.
name. I sent a Facebook message about Barsick, the missing cat. And while you're looking for that, I'll pull our monthly card. Every month we pull a card for the collective. And the deck I'm using today is the Doreen Virtue Radley Valentine. I love Valentine. That's my dad's name. The Animal Oracle deck. It's actually a tarot deck. So I'm just going to choose one card that I'm drawn to while Mari's going to find the picture of the missing cat. Because let's face it, when our animals run away, I know I feel it's happened to me with my gray one. But oh, how lovely. I pulled the 3 of Summer, and in that particular deck, let me my stop this one so everybody could see, are the beautiful hummingbirds and the lovely summer flowers. You have an exciting reason to celebrate, such as engagement, wedding, graduation, or birth announcement. Remember to cherish those you love. So this card is talking about remembering what you have to celebrate. So even if you are going through some hardships, there's always even though this card gives examples of specific celebrations, it can also be read generally, my guides are telling me, and you do have a reason to celebrate. So the hummingbird represents joy and the pursuit of happiness, celebration, and playfulness, the enjoyment of life. The love initiated with the dove, the ace of summer, and then nurtured by the lovebirds, the 2 of summer, is now celebrated by the hummingbirds on this card. Hummingbirds reflect happy moments in life, such as the ones I mentioned, and all joyful experiences that can come from love. They can be symbolic for any reason for celebration. They can also represent a community of friends, including families of choice, okay? The ones that you pick in this lifetime, not necessarily the ones you're born into or adopted by. Hummingbirds remind you to express your love and gratitude to others. So even during the most difficult challenges that you may be experiencing, such as the loss of a pet, you have the positive memories, and your soul has grown in the ability and your capacity to love by having had that pet. Look around and count the blessings that you have and find that joy and wrap yourself in a blanket of that love and joy as a way to help you release any grief of losing the pet. Perhaps one of the ways which one of our watchers came in today, she fosters. So perhaps do something to honor your pet by helping another animal in need. It may not be fostering, could be maybe a $10 donation to a rescue. It could be volunteering to walk a dog for a rescue. So find these joyful purposes to honor your loved ones and remember the joy and the moments in life. So, Mari, have you been able to find the picture?
I did. Because I'm checking like 25 different pages here. So it seems like this is Carolyn's neighbor's cat. Is that right? Carolyn, are you still here? Okay. Yeah, because I was going through it and I was like, wait a second, I remember. So this is not your cat. It's interesting because as I'm tuning into Barsick, and again, I don't know anything about where he is or where he was lost or anything like that. I do feel like he is still with us. And, you know, when I do missing animal readings, that's like a whole thing. And it's like takes hours and hours because I sort of track them and pinpoint them on a map and things like that. So obviously I don't, really have the space to do that today, but I do feel like Barsick is okay. I still feel like he's out there. It's almost like, I know you mentioned that he's been gone for a little while. I feel like he's on a little bit of a walkabout, interestingly. Like I feel like he's checking out different places, and there's some piece about not wanting to be found right now. And I'm not sure why he's telling me that, but and it's not like he doesn't love his humans or anything, but he's talking to me about freedom. And so I don't know if he was like always an indoor cat and he was never let outside. And he was like, oh, I can't wait to get outside. And yeah, I can't hear you, Cal. So I don't know if you're on mute or not, but it's okay. I don't, but I can't hear. See your lips moving, but I don't hear anything. So, but there's some piece about not wanting to be found. But and if he had crossed, if I felt that, I would definitely let you know. But I don't feel that with him. I feel like he's still out there. But he keeps talking to me about needing time. And so I don't know if there was some disruption in the household, like if there was like a baby or another pet or some piece. Okay, so thank you. So there's some piece about that. And he was like, I need a moment here, and so that's what I'm getting from him. He's like, I'm not really happy about the changes that are happening. And I need some time to sort of adjust. And so I do feel like he's going to find his way back, or like one of the neighbors is going to see him, but he needs a little time. And that's what he's telling me, that he is okay, that he is sort of out on his own, sort of taking a little bit of space. And, I understand that his mom, his human, would want him back because, like, I, of course, would, be hysterical also, but just sort of let her know that when you put the energy out there, like I tell people for missing animals, to put out like an energetic fishing pole, like a beam of light from your heart to your animal, and to let him know, look, I understand that you are out there, that you kind of want your space, and these things that have happened in our household have sort of maybe set you off a little bit, and you're not really pleased with how things are in terms of you not having all the attention now. But just know that I love you and that we are open to you coming back when you are ready. Because I feel like almost there's a lot of pressure from his human energetically, like, come back, where are you? And like, I get that, like, as if it was my pet, I'd be hysterical, but they feel that, whether they're in the same room or whatever, they feel that we're like, have that desperate kind of energy. And he doesn't like that. That is kind of like making him be like, ugh, I don't want to feel like, once he's back, that he's going to be put in a box, almost like, not like in a carrier, but just like energetically almost, so that he has to be a certain way or something. So just sort of pass that along to his mom, to his human.
I will.
I heard you there. So
They put the headset on.
to let her know, and and just sort of be more chill about it. And I know that might be hard, but just to be like, okay, I understand what you're doing. You are welcome back whenever you feel up to it, whenever you want to be, and that we will love you and sort of have less restrictions on you when you come back, because there's a piece about that as well. So
beautiful. Thank you so much.
You are so very welcome. It's my pleasure. So, and I'm glad that Winter saw you, because just trying to scan through everybody. And I'm sorry if we didn't get to everybody today. So we will definitely do this again, because obviously it's a popular topic. And I was thinking of doing just a Facebook Live and doing some animal readings at some point, just because I know there's a lot of people that love to connect with their furry friends. And I also wanted to mention, before we forget, and thank you, Winter, for pulling such a beautiful card for our animal lovers, that our next show is going to be June 15th at 3 p.m. with the amazing Asheville medium, Anthony Mikolajewski. So hopefully I did not butcher your name too hard, but Anthony is amazing. And again, he's in Asheville, North Carolina, and he will be joining us and sort of talking about his work, and I'm sure doing some readings as well. So that would be June 15th, 3 o'clock, same Zoom, same bat channel. And thank you everybody for joining us. This has been amazing. We love to connect with your furry friends. And Winter, are you still with us? Did we lose you?
I am.
There you are. Okay.
I'm not quite sure how I'm doing all the Zooming stuff. So, but yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. It makes it a lot more exciting energetically when you guys are here. I always feel a bit of a distance when it's just people watching on live. So to interact with you, I happen to love that aspect of it. If we didn't get to your pets, I'm so sorry. But we do pet readings even in during regular shows. Tonight, we wanted to just dedicate it. And maybe when we come back September, because we'll take July and August off, we'll do just an animal communication again, because I love the animals too. As you can see, I was playing with all some of my cats. I'm the crazy
Yeah,
cat.
that sounds great. We should definitely do that. So maybe we have our September show set up already. We'll do animals again.
Yes, we just got to find the date because I'm hopefully going to go on vacation with my oldest child who really, really wants a cat in spite of her cat allergies. So, but anyway, God bless you all. Hopefully you'll be able to tune in with Mari, Anthony, and I on June 15th. And, you know, if you have a lost animal, reach out to Mari because, as she said, she needs, you know, a full session. But it is quite helpful. This little monkey, she is the one that runs away. She loves me.
Oh my goodness.
So I have her not only microchipped, but she's got an air tag on her now. Because when I try to let my dog in the house, she will sneak out. So I'll just say, if you want, air tags are also helpful.
That is a very good idea. Absolutely. I didn't think about that. So.
Yeah, because I get nervous because we have eagles and red-tailed hawks, and they would go after my little precious, besides the cars and the other wildlife.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
So I'm a nervous Nelly when it comes to my pets. But
no, I understand. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Spirit Chat. And it was a pleasure to connect with everybody. I'm sorry if we didn't get to you, but again, like Winter said, tune in on the 15th. If you have a pet, we'd be happy to read them then. Again, I'm going to try to do something on Facebook to get to some more people that we might have missed today. And looking forward to seeing everybody again on June 15th at 3:00 with the Asheville Medium.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. Thank you for joining us.